Assalamu alaikum guys, this is me Senpai Gamer-san. I'm your host Senpai. We are playing the game The Innsmouth Case. Now this is the amazing story type of game. I just read it, the description about this game. I didn't read the story. This is the game was created by the Cthulhu fans and Lovecraft fan, which had a really bad endings happen in the Lovecraft and Cthulhu gameplay detective type of game. But the creator wasn't create this game. Okay, the fan who is the fan who Lovecraft fan and the Cthulhu fan create this game to give the new story of the beginning to the new beginning. Of the beginning of the new beginning. What the fuck, senpai, you saying? Sorry, my bad. Anyway, it is really great game. I'm saying because it's related to the mysteries and some supernatural stuff's gonna be happening. And you guys gonna be enjoying it. So here we go. Your progress as a story will be saved at the end of the chapter. Each chapter, there are 35 chapters in total. At the end of the chapter, the screen fades to black and green. Save icon appears at the bottom of the screen. We recommend you always end the game after such a point to make sure none of your progress lost. Okay. Boston, 21st September. The last rays of sunshine filtered through the blinds of your empty office. The thick stench of whiskey, cold cigarette smoke, and cane revelries fills the air, the screeching tires, and the constant beeping of a car horns. The other street tells you that it is gone 8 p.m. People are on their way home finishing their day. You should join them. Okay, if I do the hard work over time as a detective, I guess I have to do it. Your day was long and frustrating. You are running out of the ideas on how to handle the calls of the people who want money from you. A cold shiver runs down your spine as you flick through a pile of the unpaid bills. On the top of the bill pile is a reminder from your landlady. There are 2 months behind on the rent. The next one is a 3-figure invoice from the game company of the app purchases. You try to claim them as a business expenses in your last investigation, but somehow your client refused to pay. Then there is a second reminder from your internet provider threatening to cut off your connection. You might take a legal action because without the internet, you can't work or live. More, you really need to. Your lawyer, cigarette, little fresh air. You jerk open the blinds. Among the dust, the last ray of the light shines into your eyes. Like a laser sight of the spy flick, it takes a few seconds for your eyes to adjust. Your gaze settles on the horns and hooves pop across the street. How many simple job this guy has given you. Jealous wife whose husband you had to spy on. All you had to do was lie and wait in the window and take pictures of them. Coming out to the dirty souls in town, you close the window before you see anyone you know. You breathe deep sheen. It may not have been a successful day, but at least it's over. You're looking forward to a classic Friday night, watching all mystery series at home in a sweatpants and getting drunk on cheap booze. Since the early afternoon, you have been starting at the four-bounding bottle of the liquor at the other end of the room. Up until now, weak sense of the professionalism has kept you from the drinking yourself into oblivion. Now, nothing stands in the way. Suddenly, you hear someone in the door. Say, who is it? The door slowly cracks open with a timid creak. The unknown guest pauses. Then, in the breathy and melodic tune, you hear a woman utter, "Hello." You inside cram. You suddenly realize that you hadn't cleaned your office at all these years. You quickly try to clean up. No, invite her in. Oh, she's hot. Ah. By the light of the desk lamp, you now see more than silhouette. A breathtaking woman lights up your office. No doubt older than a 40, maybe even 50, hard to say, clad in a black, skin-tight dress, culminating in a décolleté that seemed to defy the law of the gravity. a smoky eyebrow, as dark as Elgia washed ashore, blonde coffee, wavy hair under the dark brick. The faint light of the setting sun catches in these trains of air, and you wonder how many heads this woman must have turned during her prime. She completely different from her usual customer, nervous bankers with the sweat stains under their armpits, convinced their wives have something going with the mailman. Every move she makes is calculated grace. Smooth as an eel, she walks towards you. Sit down on the corner of your desk. Determined, she walks towards you and sit down on the corner of your desk. Which is makes you blush, which is a little bold. I don't have to show shyly like a stupidly shit. Honestly, to be honest with you, when I was in my young age, 18 years, whenever the girl sit next to me, I feel shy and smile like an idiot. It still happens like that sometimes, but now the feelings are totally gone and I feel like an empty heart. This time, whenever the girl sit right beside me, I just bolt. I don't look at her. I don't look at in her eyes either. Neither. Anyway, this is little bold without asking you first, but as a professional, you are not giving anything away. She seemed to want to play a seductive damsel in distress. The quite amused voice of your substitution is pleased that this stranger may be sharing your atheism for film noir cliches. A far louder voice is surprised that this woman seemed to think that sexy pose and revealing clothes could win you over. As I expected, that bitch is a hoe. And both voices agree that they don't like being manipulated. You don't think that the stranger perched on your table is trying to recover you from hard working day as a lingering model, and therefore you see no logical reason for her behavior. When she begins to speak, her voice is smoky and full of promise. Begin to the mimic. My name is Tabitha Marsh. I'm looking for a private investigator. I was told you are the one of the best. She extends her hand. Kiss her hand. You come to the right place, really. Of course, I will find your missing daughter. What? Wait a minute. Where did that turn? You have come to the right place, lady. What can I do for you? Wait a minute. We are fans of the strange world Innsmouth, but we recognize the problematic beliefs of H.P. Lovecraft. This game has been produced by a group of people who believe in inclusion and equality. See, I told you guys. Okay, you have come to the right place, lady. What can I do for you? You sit back in your chair and fold your hands over your stomach. The woman seemed a little irritated that her proactive behavior seems to have no effect on you. She moves from the edge of the desk and sits down on the chair opposite to you. Ah, yes, I. She clears her throat. As she continued to speak, the smoky seductiveness crept back into her voice. My name is Dahlia. I need your help. It's about my daughter, Tabitha. She has disappeared. You're pulling out the paper and the pencil. This is gonna be walk in the park, a walk in the kidnapped kids park. Well, when did you last see her and where? The woman puts a fake smile. We live in Innsmouth. It's a small port town north of Arkham. You frown. This is a big word. What was your child doing when you last saw her? What hobby does she have? Oh, you know, kid stuff. They just run around and play with their yo-yos, that sort of thing. Dahlia nervously combs her hands through her hair. Does your daughter have any friends? She might be staying with the classmates, sports club members, anything like that. Dahlia silently shakes her head. Very strange. You are about to ask if the girl at least had imaginary friends, but you hold back. Okay. What about her father? What about the Tabitha father? Are you separated? Often children reappear with the family members. Dahlia smiled sadly. My little one can't swim well enough for that yet. Your pen remains on the same spot of the notepad. What was that supposed to mean? Dahlia is about to continue. Dahlia turns her gaze away from you and looks dreamily, no longer out of the window. Her father was a fisherman, like most in our village. A few years ago, he went out to sea, but never returned. His boat was washed ashore a week later. His colleague told me that he had finally followed the call of the waves. You keep quiet for a moment. The sea's family members are always sensitive subject. My sincere condolence. She seems calm. Oh, somehow I always knew that moment would come. I think my husband is in a better place now. At some point, I will join you. You take a closer look to the dahlia. Marguerite! You take a closer look to the dahlia outfit, judging by the behavior of her clothes. You never would have taken her to be a fisherman wife. You inquire about more details of the case. Okay, yo-yos. Hold on. Yo-yos, ring ring. Can you hear that? It's the 90s calling, and they want their outdated toys back. Dahlia blushes. Normally, you would find this quite attractive, but the case of missing girl beckons and you are utterly unconvinced by this way. Woman pretends to be a mother. Confront her. Something is fishy here. You have a nose for this sort of thing. That's why you become a pirate, investigator, or to be prices. That's why you took an online detective course. That from one of the fee provide the necessary qualification. It's time to take your visitor to task. Why did you come to me? Why did you come to me? Has your daughter really disappeared? Really disappeared? You simply can't help questioning her further. Her story simply doesn't wash, although exactly what was instructor warned you about. You are sticking to your principle. Dahlia's mouth becomes even more pinched, something you didn't think possible. I resent the insolence. Of course she's disappeared. Okay, I resent the insolence. Of course she's disappeared. What do you think for me? You stare at the another one. The only sound in the room is the roar of the rush hour traffic creeping through the window. Dahlia's face remains motionless, icy, and you have neither evidence nor argument to back your suspicion. She still seems angry, but also seems desperate and dependent on your services. Ask more questions about this case. What does your daughter look like? She's only 8 and a sweetest girl. You can imagine she's been missing without a trace since the last week. None of our schoolmates have seen her, and no one even knows where she might have gone. She hands you a photo. Look, this is my little munchkin. The fuck? Creepy! God heaven! Is this supposed to be a joke? Is that really a face of a child of a shoddy photo edit? Are you being filmed as a part of a reality TV show? A bit stomach acid and the last bite of the lunch slowly but surely make their way up to the back of your mouth. Throw up in the drawer of your dress. Swallow it. With a narrow eye, you swallow the bile and involuntary pull of face. Dahlia continues to look at you hopefully. She obviously didn't notice your little mishap. That was close. Could have been unpleasant. I'm so desperate. Her eyes lock with yours. Don't you think there's something strange about your child? Ask about more. I have no further question. You mumble more yourself than your Dahlia stretches her neck. No doubt she would like to take a look to your note. Your pen hovers with the nose your missing daughter. Dodgy lady. That's it. You have worked with less. Okay, are you going to take case or not? Accept the case. You nod. A missing person case, nothing unusual, unconventional. Little girl run away from the home after reading her first romance novel. Usually they hide the edge of the forest or in the lavatory. Should be pretty straightforward. Before you can say anything, she drops a photo of a child and roll of bills on your desk for your expenses. You note slowly, trying not to roll down the front of your shirt. You haven't seen much money in ages. You don't have much time to prepare. A quick searches reveal the only one buzz goes to the inmost, and the only once a day. A pattern emerges in the research. A few new items related into the little coastal towns, and all about the missing person. In addition, you find some rather old-fashioned articles that praise the coastal town as a secret holiday destination. The batfish, untouched bat permit, authentic fishing people are recurring buzzwords. Dahlia has given you the address at which you are supposed to drop off her daughter as soon as you find her. She also wrote down her phone number on the child photo. You take another look to the picture before you pack your things up. By bus, by hitchhiking. To be honest, going by bus could be taking a lot of money, and by the hitchhiking could be dangerous. Let's go for dangerous. Boston, 2nd September. Your finger gently struck the banknotes inside your coat. As you leave your apartment at the dawn, only over the dead body will you waste with money or actual expenses. You never have a good experience with the public transportation, so you are decided to give a hitchhiking to go. Okay, you are about to park a ride which is located to the intersection of the two country roads. This is where the students and the low-income earners meet to share a few costs of the long trip, and you often to see a nomads and vagabonds trying to catch a free ride. You're confident you won't be put in the last category, at the least not today. Low clouds hang in the Boston sky. The air grows cold and wet, and the progress of your mission depends on the charity of the compassion of the stranger. Trust me, you have got a good feeling about this. The secret is to make a good impression. It's not to scare away any potential opportunity. It's best to hide your true character until you are in the car. This is definitely going to work. You confidently say out loud. People close you give you some worried looks. A little girl whose family has just parked their fully loaded van points wordly at you. Her mother takes a note of you and turns up her mouth. Look, ma'am, a poor person. The little one finally delivers her verdict cheerfully. That's really aggressive, my friend. On top of that, rude, threaten to beat her up. Your knees crack as you squat down in the front of the little girl. You say, it's not as if I sometime wouldn't like to lead a cushy, lazy, uncreative life like your partners. But if all of us were striving only for comfort and mediocrity in our lives, where would the art would be adventure, the self-determination that takes some people to higher spheres? That makes them create work from which the rest of humanity benefits for centuries. The girl frowns. Her mother conversed loudly with her father, the little one, and no longer pay attention to you. You go on. The life I lead is not easy, not at all, but working as a private detective is fulfilling as soon as I have a few exciting cases. Just like the ones I have right now. I make a real difference unite a little girl with her worried mother, bring a family together. You're searching for, I'm a kind of superhero. Your parents lives on the other hand, a pointless. I'm actually kind of superhero and I don't want any things, just a little money when I'm done my job well. And if not, then at least a refund to my expenses. What are the expenses? The girl asked, skeptically. Vital things I have to spend money on during my assignment, like a travel restaurant and going to the cinema. The girl ponders this and finally puts a hand over her hip. I am concerned that your romantic session of procreation, freelance work, and your belief create genius has completely closed your eyes to the capabilities logic explanation underpins both. As in the individual freelancer, you are a part of the improvement of the social fabric. You are beginning to wonder why you are so desperately trying to justify your job to a little girl. Never argue with a little girl. They don't have a brains. It just feels like you are in an annual of phone conversation to your mother. It's time to consider the option. Three other hitchhikers have positioned themselves at the exit of the parking lot. Student couple of the punk of the towels. Student couple and a punk with a towel around his shoulder. Okay, every now and then the car stops and the driver winds down the windshield and a few words with them. Join them. Join them. These people seem experienced hitchhiker. Maybe you can learn that. Hey, you call out a couple of strangers waving hand. Say the one and say the other one. Wave at car. You stand the edge of the exit parking lot. Stick out your thumb like a hitchhiker. You decided to stand there and harmlessly brave by your side of the pointing thumb towards the exit. Classic hitchhiker. When you already are starting to ask yourself whether you look like someone who works on taxman or like some sort of hitman, a car comes to stop next to you. You get a goosebumps. All of a sudden, your mouth is completely dry. It's a wood panel station wagon. The window is rolled down and the hand appears. You can't see the driver in the dark of the car. Hello. You approach the car and start talking. I'm on the way to Innsmouth, a middle-aged man with thinning hair, horn-rimmed. At the window in the front of your mind, you go through your sign of serial killer checklist. His pupil seems to be wandering off the left, while the other one is fixed on you. His hand moves over his steering wheel as it strokes it. You can ride with me, he whispers. Get in. Thank you. You ignore all the warning sign and no from the movies and television and get into the station wagon with a queasy feeling, is this really better than the bus? You walk around the car and its owner opens the passenger door. When you drop in the seat, you notice a weird smell. That must be detergent at least. There is properly hygiene. An alarm goes off in your reptile brain. Hank, the driver mumbles and steps on the gas pedal. With a jerk, the car starts moving and the back of your head is stably pressed into the headrest. You think about what to say. In a bit hurry, are you? What brings you to the Innsmouth? What brings you to the Innsmouth? You say, lighting up the strange mood in the car. The man licks his lip before answering. Special business. He turns to you now and seems to ignore the road in front of him. Innsmouth is interesting because not too many questions are asked there. It's a bit like a black hole, and some people will town just swallow them out. Okay. Laugh politely and note. Alarm goes off in the back of your mind. A black hole, eh? What a strange description for a remote side town. A black hole, you ask. Yes, the man mumbles thoughtfully. I'm an astronomer, For a moment he turns to you and you notice how his left pupil keeps wandering to the side of his eye, only a snap back shortly thereafter. This regular pattern has almost hypnotic effects on you, as you want to watch the spaghetti effect. Hank seemed irritated for a moment. Spaghetti effect? You have no idea why you ask that something in your brain switches your speech center to autopilot and starts spitting out facts about the black hole from the last space documentary you watched. Yeah, this is physical phenomenon. Near a black hole, gravity becomes so massive that everything that approaches it becomes incredible stretch. As an astronaut who fall into the black hole would be thrown into bloody strip long before thought, like a human spaghetti. Talk more about the black holes. I'm a vision, by the way. He's a creepy one, the guy got. Ooh. I'm a vegan, by the way. Spaghetti is my favorite dish. Silence The driver whispered almost imperiously, "Do you mean human spaghetti?" His grip around steering wheel became so tight that his knuckles whitened. What a creep guy. Oh, no, of course not. No, 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 no. I would never. I mean, I could. No. I, uh, I've been vegan for years. You are mumbling more for yourself. Human spaghetti? That would be yes. One would have get rid of all the blood first. You know, in the human body, there's so much blood, and that is unhygienic, all of this blood. You wouldn't believe how much blood there is in the human body. I saw that once in a documentary. It was called, I don't remember it actually, but a blood also, it's a super hard to get out of the clothes. All of the scrubbing you have to do. Wait, what? What the fuck? So this is why there was this detergent smell from his car. Well, I guess I'm fucked. You begin to think of that your driver has slowly been noticing your nervousness without turning your head. You look at him from the corner of your eye. His strange eye is not twitching any longer, but is fixed right on you. Slowly, almost imperiously, Hank lit his lips. Now you are just watching the road, careful not to meet a hang gaze. Slowly you start to wonder if your story ends here, finished off by a serial killer. You start one of the last desperate attempts to save your skin. You know, the thing with the blood is that it goes everywhere, even the smallest trace enough for the cops to find you. They have their ways to finding you. You can run as far away you want, or even leave your car behind. You can try to escape to the most remote place in the country, make every witness disappear. Who has been seen your face? The cops will still find you, and then it's payday, no matter how many you take with you. Hank's face showed no emotion. Instead, he instantly examined the rear view mirror. There is no car in the side in front of you. You turn around, the road behind you is empty. You realize immediately what does this mean. No witness, you murmur. Hank's car slowly stops. Worsley, he gets out and walks around the car and opens the door. Please leave my vehicle immediately. I simply can't drive with you anymore. You feel like you have been hit in the head with a hammer. What? You blurt out. Hank stammers. Don't take it personally, but you are too scary for me. I had a bad feeling when I picked you up, but I ignored that. But I can no longer ignore it. I'm afraid of you. I just want to go in Innsmouth to buy my daughter a wooden toy boat for her birthday. I don't need to be dealing with crazy co-driver if something had happened. Okay. Toy bought for her birthday. I don't need to be dealing with a crazy co-driver if something had happened to me. Nobody would know where I am because it's supposed to be a surprise. I already said too much. Leave! Soon after you find yourself in the dust by the side road. The car slowly returned to the road and steadily gained speed. Bye, you call out after him as if what just went down and had happened by the mutual agreement. A rough wind whips into your face. It's a strong and feel almost invisible hand has pushing you back into the direction you came from. Okay. Wait for the car, I guess. All by yourself, you stand there by the side of this road and wait for the car to continue on the foot. Instead of wasting your energy on the walking few miles, you decided to wait for the next car. You sit down on the dry earth right by your side of the road. Random tufts, grass, and are the only bits of the nature that seem to thrive here. You will be noticed. A flock birds from gigantic, ever-changing constellation on the horizon. They seem to you like a wave spreading over the landscape. Only to rise again at the last moment. These repeating patterns remind you of those kaleidoscopes you liked to look at as your child. An hour passes until repeated honking of the horn rips you from your thoughts. You turn around and notice a car actually slowing down and stopping next to you. The red station wagon is like a mirage, the gray wasteland that has surrounded by you for a far too long. An older couple takes the trouble to get out of the car. Your worried face look at you. The driver keeps little distance, his voice from approach. What are you doing here all alone, sweetheart? Sorry, What are you doing here all alone, sweetheart? The woman asked. Her hands touched your arm in a caring manner. A little human warmth. You hadn't realized this how much you needed it out here. I'm going to Innsmouth, you answer a bit awkwardly. Still feel surreal. Apparently, you have actually come across the normal people. That's where we are going, looking for confirmation. The woman looks at her husband. George, roll his eyes. You feel like an only partial welcome. Flea infested mud that someone is picking up from the side of the road. Yup, George finally comes out. His wife gives him a punishing look. He throws his hand over his head and shuffles back to a car. His wife puts her hands on your shoulder. Get in the car with us. I'm Ellen. The Grouch is an husband. Grouch is my husband. George inside. He's a good guy, trust me. You squeeze yourself into the remaining seat in the back of the station wagon between ice boxes and sports equipment and fumble for the safety belt. I knew it. Why this guy scared? I think this guy is searching about the Cthulhu, but he did saw about something weird thing. He feel like the Cthulhu got my hero. This is why he lived. I think maybe he's a good shot. Then just reverse and the car start moving. Delighting you notice the interior of the car is warm and cozy, the ideal ride. There are the cookies and Ellen offer you tea from the thermos. The journey is quick and without any further hitches. Let me know if you need anything. Just mention your mission. No, I can't trust these people. I'm a detective. Just enjoy the ride. You lean back, the landscape rushes past you, but you don't notice much it's cozy. Soon you fall into the light sleep, which is the only interrupted. Whenever your head tips forward, you make yourself a little more comfortable as actually manage to fall asleep. At some point, the vigil leaves the countryside of the tier, turns near the wooden sign. It's a Innsmouth, written in a big red letter, which are slowly peeling out the sign. Your journey continues along the narrow, bumpy country lane with lots of potholes. In the distance, you can already make out few houses, seagulls circling roofs, and on the far side of the coastal town. You approach another wooden sign with the words car diversion scrawled into the miserably, and a row underneath points to the right. The sign points away from the route that leads directly to the Innsmouth. Presumably diversion. You are sure that the other board directly underneath with the words other routes actually points into the direction leading directly into the town. Oh, don't get involved. George is already indicating and wants to turn into divergent lane, asking to follow. No, don't get involved. The vigil turns off to follow the divergent road, and an even bumpier path leads you not to the city of the center, but to the what with only great deal to the good with could become called the parking lot. The road stops right in the entrance of the parking lot. Above the entrance, another makeshift wooden sign. Innsmouth Park in the rest area in the red paint. Free. We wish you to please and stay. You can't help but to feel disturbed. Something strikes you odd as the fresh red pen and the sign. The fact that this parking is free. Ah. The red, okay, I have to do the text speed fast, I guess. That's would be work. The red writing of the sign must be fresh. As you get closer, you can see the thin lines of the trickle down to the wooden board. You almost expect to see a young boy in the dungarees with a fresh paintbrush sticking out his back pocket. Any other tourist department would have had the actually printed sign, made by the real designer not into the bizarre makeshift constructed. You disapprove the fresh paint could be dripped by any passing car. A big splotch of the paint splatter into your windshield. Ellen squeals loudly. Damn it, George! Grunts. He turns on the windshield wiper and glittering mass spread even more across the windshield. There seem to be sticky bits in it. Oh, George, how we are going to get to read on this? Tree resin, that's what is right. Can you still see anything? Yes, yes. George leans forward, tries to squint in through the red film. In front of him, this parking lot seems to be popular. It's the only after 10 minutes that Ellen spots you space into which is a car fits. This is stupid. I bet locals also park their cars here. George keeps grumbling. But they mean well. It's a nice gesture, isn't it? Ellen looks at you imperturbably. Join in with grumbling. Yes, yes, you agree with Ellen. George starts to giggle. Oh, great. Ellen said assembly. Now to two of you conspiring against me. George touches Ellen tenderly and kisses her nose. Eventually, she starts to giggle also. Okay, let's settle our finances. What? What? You are the one who asked for me. Joe suggests all the business like as soon as you step out in the car, dusty parking lot. Finances? You disguised one moment you were sure that this nice couple had taken you along to the goodness of their hearts. You demeaned its cosmic sign for their righteous mission to defend its law. Now you realize it was a stone cold profit seeking calculation. It feels as if someone has told you yet again that Santa isn't real. Was it a charity of the brotherly love made this nation great? You think it's simply inhuman to demand money for something travel as a transport. Yep, reflect. Pretend that you are deaf. Um, A sudden idea strikes you. You will simply pretend to be deaf. This routine has saved you from many perplexing situations. You give a crooked smile and shrug your shoulder. You start making a few gestures which you have specially learned from the purpose. Your hands move and fingers make a serious sign, which, if you remember correctly, asks about location to closest library. George and Ellen looks at you puzzled. What are you doing? Ellen asked tentatively. You point at your ears and raise your shoulder again in apologetic smile. Are you deaf? What were we just talking to you? Keep gesturing. Throw a sand in the George. What the fuck? Wow! Keep gesticulating. If you have learned anything from politics in the last few years, this is just because a lie is crude transparent. Shamelessly and directly contraries to common sense established knowledge of those who are being lied, that doesn't mean that this lie is going to fail. You have to keep it your finger, keep moving until you make shape, and when you run out of sign, you have learned you make a shape that looks like animal. This is literally the stupidest thing I ever seen, George grumbled. Ellen looked at you passively and then whispered something into his ear. You can only make out little snipper conversation. Poor, must be desperate and embarrassed. George rolled his eye and shook his head. Oh, I can't believe this. Ellen squeezed his arm and nods at him with wide eyes. He shrugged assembly and shuffled back to the car and unloaded the suitcase. Ellen gives you big thumbs up and wide smile before helping George. You did it. In the end, it doesn't matter whether you believe the deaf routine or whether they are just fitting you. The result is the same. You saved a few bucks, and it all because you was your dignity. Well done, really. With a quick step which makes your way into the town center of the direction of the coastline, not long ago the sun was bright into the sky, but already in the first waft of the mist of the creeping into the street, the air feels heavier and the sun can no longer penetrate the fog. And time to think about where you want to go. You slow down, leaning your briefcase against the wall, and you start pacing along quite alleyway. You have got an important choice to make right now. The city center is the north of the. Even from the far, you can see outline of the old and orientally decorated buildings in the main tower square. Here you should be find the police station. Okay. Police station. The main shopping street and of course the town hall is coastal town. Innsmouth of course also have a harbor. During the research you found out that this was busy area, which includes dreamy beach. You expect there are mostly tourists. The old town, according to your research, has the only hotel in the town, the Gleeman Hotel. You could decide to check in and freshen up just when you want to set off your heart leaps into your throat. Where a moment ago your briefcase was leaning against a wall, now is nothing. Disturbed, you walk out down the street and peer into alleyway and over the fence, but there is no one's sight. Did you actually bring your breakfast and you put down here? Or you are going to mad? At least you can confront the idea that thief will be surprised by what he will find when he opens the briefcase. Pieces of paper with a phone number but no names on them. Scrunch up and underwear. You think you can cope with the loss of your briefcase. Lucky that you didn't take anything actually useful, valuable on your trip. You check alley one last time. Apart from a pair of moving curtains on one of the windows, you didn't notice any clues that could lead you to the culprit. It doesn't matter now. It's important that you keep moving. There's only few hours left until the sun goes down. The first thing you visit is the city of the north or the south and the harbor of the east. I guess that's it. That's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you guys think of my gameplay, which I just did. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is really a great story with a funny scene. I really thought that guy was the mutant culprit, but it wasn't. It was a scary bitch. If you guys want me to play this chapter 2 restart, let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna catch you guys, inshallah, next time when we meet again. For now, I gotta go. Bye bye, take care, love you all. Allah Hafiz, sayonara, Pakistan Zindabad. Peace. Innsmouth Case.